Okay, first of all, before I begin this video, the reason why I'm in a parking lot is because I was on the way to do some filming for Todd Richard at a school event that he was doing for some kids and stuff like that. So here's a clip, quick clip. So anyway, that's why I'm in the parking lot. So please forgive some of the noise and the traffic in the background, but I do have some relevant things to say in this video. So make sure you pay attention. Train the muscles, not the joints. So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the biggest obstacle in the way of your training, okay? This is the biggest obstacle in the way of natural bodybuilders making gains. This is by far the biggest obstacle. And you see it all the time when you go on YouTube or you go on the internet anywhere. You'll see a lot of people that are arguing about the techniques that work for them, but meanwhile they might have only been training a year, maybe 2 years, maybe even 5 or 10 years, but they still have not applied their experiences and their knowledge over decades or over a lifetime, because your wisdom is always expanding. So the biggest obstacle between you and making long-term gains is your ego, and there's a tremendous amount of ego on the internet. So I get a lot of people telling me that they say, hey, check out this guy because he does 1 rep maxes every single day and he makes gains. Meanwhile, the guy's been training like 3 years or 4 years. Like, the thing is that if you have not done something for a long period of time, yeah, you could probably do something pretty destructive for a few months, maybe a few years. Maybe you can get away with a training technique that's absolutely, totally horrible for even 5 years or 10 years. But the thing is, at some point, there is a snapping point, and I'm saying that this snapping point also changes in you. So only by paying attention will you know when a technique is right or not for you. I'm never saying not to try new techniques and try to go beyond your comfort zone and to see what works, but what I'm saying is don't stop paying attention to your body just because you read somewhere or you saw some guy do this one technique and it's the perfect technique, right? You're the only one that can decide what the perfect technique is. And again, only through humility will you be able to let go of your attachment to the previous technique that worked when it stops serving you. You understand? Like, sometimes doing heavy 1 rep maxes might work when you're only lifting 200 pounds. But when you're lifting 400 pounds, maybe that's gonna tear your pec. You know what I'm saying? So maybe when you're a beginner and you're training for a few months or a few years and your body hasn't got a cumulative amount of damage done to it, then you might be able to get away with a few mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you can actually tweak things a few times and tweak it over and over again, but they're little tweaks and you kind of recover. But if you continue to train that way for a decade, then at some point, it's just too much. Your body can no longer keep up with that recovery, right? So when you have humility, or when you are open-minded, you may start to say, oh, well, maybe what I thought was true, maybe what I was so invested into, what I was so married into, that technique that I thought was true, maybe it's not so true for me anymore, or maybe it never was. You see, so this open mind thing allows you to weave and move and dance with life as it is before you, especially when it comes down to your training. Because I've used lots of different techniques, and then when I dislocated my shoulder, and my shoulder started moving differently, then I had to start changing some of the rep ranges when it came down to certain exercises, because I found it was safer and it was more effective. But that doesn't mean that what I did before was wrong, but it meant that technique now is wrong for now my individual situation. You know what I'm saying? So this is why you have to pay attention. You cannot get married too much to any one technique. Always be open to the flow. Always be open to what is relevant to you right now in this moment. Don't impose the past onto the future. You know what I'm saying? Don't impose the past onto the present. Don't get too attached. And on the internet, you see all these people just attached, saying, oh, this is the right way to train. That's the right way to train. Yeah, sometimes these techniques are good, but if you overdo any one technique, you know what happens, right? So the question is, when are you using the right technique, or when is something applicable to you? Well, the thing is that you'll never really know until you start applying your awareness and growing in awareness first and foremost. So many people want to get bigger biceps, but they don't want to grow in their own awareness. And when you grow in your own awareness, you have greater objectivity as well as discernment in what exercise or what program or what technique is right for you in any one moment. When this happens, when you start applying your awareness, you stop trying to be somebody else or stop trying to do something that somebody else is just telling you to do for the sake of them telling you, right? So many people look at somebody doing something really stupid in some cases, and then they try it, And then they continue to do it even though their body is telling them that it is not the right technique for them. Their body's like screaming out in pain, but at the same time they keep on doing it. The reason why this is because they're choosing to ignore their own awareness and just follow some dogma instead of actually really growing in their own awareness first and foremost and finding out, okay, what is the right thing for me or not. Now, this is a bit of a process. You're going to make mistakes, and that's part of this process. You have to make mistakes in order to know what a mistake is and what it feels like when you're not making a mistake. So it does take you time to grow in your own discernment of what is good pain and bad pain. But the fact is, don't do something just because somebody else says you have to do this certain technique or certain exercise or do something a certain way, especially when your body is telling you the opposite. So I'm here to say that your body is your first guru. That's the one that's really teaching you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because some techniques that have served you so well for so long that were the perfect technique sometimes are no longer the perfect technique for you, because it depends on what stage your body is in. It depends on what your body is going through at the time. It depends on what your nutrition is like. It depends what your stress level is like. And it also depends of what your weak link is at the time, because if your weak link isn't what this certain exercise is addressing, or this certain program or rep range or set or volume or whatever you want to say, if that is not hitting your weak link, you can do this all day long, but it's not necessarily going to get you to stimulate new growth or new strength, right? So only by using your awareness will you know where is your weak link and what is it you need to address at that time. So yeah, it's a bit of a process, because I remember when I was like 15 years old, 16 years old, people say, oh yeah, just follow your body, just listen to your body, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't have the awareness to know what is, even how to flex my chest or even how to flex my back. I didn't have the awareness. This took time. So yes, you do need to follow a template, but the template only serves you in order to grow in your own awareness in what is right for you and what is actually working, what is producing a result. But in the end, you outgrow the template at some point, or you start to change or mold the template to what is needed for you in any one moment. So yeah, only an open mind will allow this to happen. So this is how you can make the most natural bodybuilding gains, is by remaining open-minded and growing in your own awareness and not getting attached to things that worked in the past, and always be open to something new, maybe something specific for you in this moment that's more applicable when it comes down to technique, sets, reps, program, whatever it might be. So thanks a lot for watching, and I hope this helps you out with your training. And if you need to get hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks a lot to the patron supporters, and take care for now. Mountain.
Gallant!